One land, two peoples, and a conflict that would reshape the modern Middle East. To understand the creation of Israel in 1948, we must look far beyond that year, deep into history, identity, and competing promises. For Jews, the land known historically as Israel holds ancient significance. More than 3,000 years ago, Jewish kingdoms existed there, with Jerusalem as their spiritual and political center. But in the year 70 AD, Roman forces destroyed Jerusalem, crushing Jewish resistance and scattering Jewish communities across Europe, North Africa, and the Middle East. This dispersion, known as the Jewish diaspora, would last nearly 2,000 years. During that time, the land did not remain empty. Arab populations, mostly Muslim with Christian minorities, lived continuously in the region, farming the land, building towns, and developing deep cultural and familial ties. For centuries, the area was governed by successive empires, most notably the Ottoman Empire, which ruled Palestine from the early 1500s until World War I. Under Ottoman rule, Jews, Muslims, and Christians lived side by side. While not without tension, the land was largely stable. But in the 19th century, forces far beyond the Middle East began to change everything. In Europe, anti-Semitism intensified. Jews faced discrimination, violence, and exclusion, even as modern nation-states emerged around them. In response, a political movement called Zionism arose. Led by thinkers such as Theodor Herzl, Zionism argued that Jews needed a homeland of their own to survive as a people. For many Zionists, Palestine, known in Jewish tradition as Eretz Israel, was the natural choice. Beginning in the late 1800s, small waves of Jewish immigrants began arriving in Palestine, purchasing land and establishing settlements. To Arab Palestinians, who already lived there and formed the overwhelming majority of the population, this immigration created fear. They worried about losing land, political power, and their future in their own homeland. Then came World War I. The war shattered empires. The Ottoman Empire collapsed, and Britain took control of Palestine. During the conflict, Britain made multiple and often contradictory promises, assuring Arab leaders of independence while also expressing support for a Jewish homeland. In 1917, Britain issued the Balfour Declaration, announcing its support for the establishment of a national home for the Jewish people in Palestine. Crucially, this declaration was made without consulting the Arab population, who made up about 90% of the land's inhabitants at the time. After the war, the League of Nations granted Britain a mandate to govern Palestine. Jewish immigration increased sharply, especially during the 1920s and 1930s, as Jews fled persecution in Europe. Arab opposition also intensified. Protests, riots, and revolts erupted, and Britain found itself caught between two communities with incompatible national ambitions. Everything changed again with the rise of Nazi Germany. The Holocaust, the systematic murder of 6 million Jews during World War II, shocked the world. For many Jewish survivors, the urgency of having a safe homeland became undeniable. Palestine, however, was still under British control, and immigration was restricted. Desperate refugees attempted to enter illegally, often being turned away. Unable to resolve the growing crisis, Britain handed the problem to the newly formed United Nations. In 1947, the United Nations proposed a partition plan. Palestine would be divided into two states, one Jewish and one Arab, with Jerusalem placed under international control. Jewish leaders accepted the plan, seeing it as a historic opportunity. Arab leaders rejected it, arguing that it was unjust to give over half the land to a Jewish state when Jews were still a minority. Almost immediately, violence erupted. Civil war broke out between Jewish and Arab communities. Villages were attacked, neighborhoods emptied, and fear spread rapidly. By early 1948, hundreds of thousands of Palestinian Arabs had fled or been expelled from their homes. On May 14, 1948, as British forces withdrew, Jewish leaders proclaimed the independence of the State of Israel. For Jews, it was the realization of a centuries-old dream, a refuge after unimaginable suffering. The next day, neighboring Arab states invaded. The First Arab-Israeli War had begun. Against expectations, Israel survived. By the time the fighting ended, Israel controlled more territory than the UN plan had originally granted. The proposed Arab state never came into existence. More than 700,000 Palestinian Arabs were now refugees, scattered in Gaza, the West Bank, Lebanon, Jordan, and beyond. For Palestinians, this moment is known as the Nakba, the catastrophe. Jerusalem was divided. Armistice lines hardened into borders, and the core issues, refugees, land, security, and sovereignty, remained unresolved. In the decades that followed, wars in 1956, 1967, and 1973 reshaped the region further. Israeli occupation of Palestinian territories, continued displacement, and failed peace efforts deepened resentment and mistrust. New generations were born knowing nothing but conflict. Today, the struggle between Israelis and Palestinians is often portrayed as ancient and inevitable, but its modern form was forged in the decisions, fears, and ambitions surrounding 1948. Two peoples, two narratives, one land. To understand the present, we must confront this history, not to assign simple blame, but to recognize the human cost on all sides. Because until the roots of the conflict are understood, the future will remain uncertain. History is not buried here. It is still alive.